At my sister's wedding, a security officer halted me at the entrance, refusing me entry. "Your name isn't on the guest list," he stated flatly. From a distance, I spotted my mother and sister observing and chuckling, but I stayed silent and walked away. The following day, they appeared at my door, tears streaming, pleading over something I never could have anticipated. I, a 29-year-old man, always sensed my family had its dysfunctions, but the events of last weekend still feel unreal. Growing up as the middle child, sandwiched between my elder sister, 32, and younger brother, 25, I was perpetually the odd one out. My sister was the star, excelling academically, thriving in her high-flying legal career, and engaged to a man from a wealthy lineage. My brother was the pampered youngest, untouchable in his charm. Me? I was just there. Our father passed when I was 14, leaving our mother to raise us. She showered my siblings with affection while holding me to unattainable expectations. Nothing I did ever seemed sufficient. I became a paramedic, not as prestigious as my sister's corporate law path or as flashy as my brother's social media influencer gig, but I save lives, and I take pride in it. I worked diligently, bought a modest home, and carved out a respectable life. Last year, my sister got engaged to her affluent boyfriend of 3 years. His family's wealth made the wedding a grand affair, the talk of the town. Though I wasn't close to them, I was genuinely pleased for her and planned to attend. 6 months ago, things took a strange turn. My mom and sister started requesting loans. First, it was $500 for a gown, then $1,000 for an emergency, followed by $5,000 for wedding costs. I helped initially, but as demands escalated, I began refusing. My sister would weep. My mom would lecture me on family duty, but I held my ground. That's when their behavior changed. They started cutting me out of family events. My calls went unanswered. My texts were ignored. Still, I assumed we'd reconcile eventually. Then came my sister's wedding. I arrived at the venue, dressed sharply in my finest suit. At the entrance, a security guard stopped me. "Name?" he asked. "I'm the bride's brother," I replied, puzzled by the formality. He scanned his list, his expression hardening. "You're not listed," he said icily. "There's been a mistake," I pressed. "I'm her brother," he shrugged. "Sorry, sir. No list, no entry." That's when I saw my mom and sister, about 20 feet away, watching the scene unfold. They didn't rush to fix the error. They were giggling. My sister whispered to my mom, who nodded with a sly grin. Humiliation burned as other guests passed by, casting curious glances. I could have caused a scene, but why bother? They clearly didn't want me there. So I said nothing, turned, and left. I drove home in stunned silence. Had my own family deliberately barred me from my sister's wedding? Was this retaliation for refusing their loan requests? I spent the evening with a bottle of whiskey, ignoring calls from friends who'd attended and noticed my absence. The next morning, loud knocking woke me. Groggy, I opened the door to find my mom and sister, faces wet with tears. "We need to talk," my mom said, her voice shaky. Against my instincts, I let them in. "Why did you do it?" my sister demanded. "Do what?" I asked, bewildered. "The wedding gift," my mom clarified. "Why would you be so cruel?" I stared, confused. "What gift?" I wasn't even allowed in. They exchanged looks. "The envelope," my sister said. "You sent it via the wedding planner." I shook my head. "I sent nothing. You had me turned away." My mom pulled an envelope from her bag, addressed in handwriting mimicking mine. Inside was a note claiming I'd sent "the money you begged for," alongside fake bank statements showing I had $300,000 in savings but was too selfish to help. I was floored. "I didn't write this. I don't have that kind of money. Someone's playing a cruel trick." "Who then?" my sister snapped. It clicked. My younger brother was skilled at forging my handwriting, a talent he'd used in school to fake parental notes. "Where's our brother?" I asked. Their faces shifted. My sister's eyes widened. He wouldn't. My mom hesitantly dialed him, putting the call on speaker. When he answered, she asked if he was behind the envelope. His laugh crackled through. Finally figured it out, huh? Did the perfect son enjoy being the villain for once? My sister gasped. Why would you do this? You ruined everything. Because I'm fed up with you both, he replied. You've been hounding our brother for cash he doesn't have, while I've been sitting on Dad's inheritance Mom secretly gave me. Time for some truth. The call ended as my mom scrambled to hang up. I stared at her, stunned. Dad's inheritance? What inheritance? She avoided my gaze. After a pause, she admitted our father left a $600,000 insurance policy meant to be split equally among us three for education and our futures. But she'd given my siblings their shares years ago, claiming to me there was nothing left. We needed it, my sister mumbled. Law school was costly, and brother needed funds for his startup. And me? I asked quietly. I worked 2 jobs for paramedic training. I'm still paying off loans. You were always so capable, my mom said, as if that justified it. We knew you'd manage. A cold realization hit me. Years of being the reliable one, the one who didn't need support because I'd manage. Get out, I said calmly. We need to discuss this, my sister begged. The wedding was a mess. That's your problem, I replied. I'm done being your bank. Leave my house. They left, but the harassment continued. Calls and texts alternated between apologies and accusations. My brother-in-law called, furious, blaming me for ruining their day before I could explain. I consulted a lawyer about the inheritance. She confirmed that if Dad designated equal shares for us, my mom likely committed fraud. Legal action was possible but costly and complex. Instead, I chose another path. I compiled evidence, texts demanding money, records of transfers I'd made, and an audio of my mom's inheritance confession, courtesy of my home security system. I sent a detailed email with attachments to our extended family. The fallout was explosive. My mom's siblings were horrified. My dad's family felt validated. My sister's in-laws, obsessed with their family's reputation, were appalled to be tied to such a scandal. My sister called, sobbing. How could you? My in-laws are talking annulment. They're calling us thieves. I'm just being truthful, I said. Something this family struggles with. My mom showed up at my workplace, making a scene until security removed her. She accused me of destroying the family out of spite. Surprisingly, my brother texted an apology. Sorry for using you in my plan. They needed to face consequences. They labeled me the bad kid while making you invisible. Different roles, same harm. I didn't reply. Forgiveness wasn't in me yet. 3 weeks post-wedding, my sister's in-laws called a meeting in their lawyer's conference room. My mom, sister, brother, and I faced them and their stern attorney. We've reviewed the evidence, the father-in-law said. We're troubled by what we've uncovered. Our family values honesty and integrity. This reflects neither, my sister cried. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. By stealing your brother's inheritance and shaming him publicly, the mother-in-law asked. That's not decent behavior, their lawyer spoke. We're demanding the return of all wedding gifts while we assess the marriage's future. We've also drafted a repayment plan for your brother's inheritance share, with interest, my mom protested. I don't have that money anymore. Then sell assets, the lawyer replied, or face legal consequences. But there was more. While investigating the inheritance, I learned of a safety deposit box my dad kept, revealed by his old business partner. Inside were documents hinting my mom had an affair and a DNA test suggesting my brother might not be Dad's biological son. This explained her favoritism toward him and her skewed handling of the inheritance. I shared this with my lawyer, who advised using it only if needed. Meanwhile, the in-laws uncovered my sister's lies about her career. She'd claimed she was on track for partner at her firm, but she'd been passed over twice and was on probation for mishandling funds. In a heated confrontation, my sister admitted some loans she'd begged from me funded secret cosmetic surgeries, violating her prenup's honesty clause. Her in-laws began pursuing annulment. My mom, seeing my sister's perfect life unravel, grew desperate. One night, intoxicated, she offered to sign over her house if I'd tell the in-laws I fabricated everything out of envy. When I refused, she threatened to accuse me of physical abuse, a claim that could jeopardize my paramedic license. I immediately contacted my lawyer and filed a police report to document her threat. I also informed my supervisor to preempt false allegations. My brother then revealed our mom had defrauded our grandparents, convincing them they were investing in property with fake documents. She'd spent their retirement savings. We confronted our grandparents together. They were initially skeptical but heartbroken when shown proof. My lawyer connected them with an elder financial abuse specialist. 6 weeks after the wedding, the in-laws held another meeting. They presented a dossier on my sister, mishandled funds, hidden surgeries, and co-worker testimony exposing her true standing at work. "We're moving forward with annulment," the father-in-law declared. "Our son was deceived into this marriage, provable in court. My sister was stunned. You can't do this!" 2 months later, my mom faced consequences. She sold her house to repay my inheritance and faced potential charges for defrauding our grandparents. In a last-ditch effort, she tried transferring her house deed to my sister to hide assets, but the title company flagged it, alerting my lawyer. This triggered an arrest warrant for multiple fraud charges and elder abuse. My sister's firm fired her, and the state bar launched an ethics probe. My brother publicly apologized on social media for the fake gift stunt, admitting he'd been manipulated by our mom, but owning his mistakes. My grandparents temporarily moved in with me while we sorted their finances. My grandfather shared untold stories about my dad, his hopes for us, his principles, his character. A year later, my mom took a plea deal: restitution, probation, and community service. My sister relocated cross-country for a fresh start. My brother and I began rebuilding a tentative but healing bond. I used my recovered inheritance to fund a scholarship for struggling paramedic students. I bought a new home in a different area and started dating someone who values honesty. My grandparents settled into a nearby senior community, their finances restored. Yesterday, I received a letter from my mom. She claimed to be in therapy, taking accountability, and seeking reconciliation over coffee. She said she's changed and regrets the pain she caused. I haven't replied. Part of me craves closure, but a larger part recalls standing outside that wedding, watching them laugh at my exclusion. For now, I'm focusing on my life and the family I choose, not the one I was born into. If this ordeal taught me anything, it's that the truest revenge isn't about settling scores. It's about finding freedom. Thank you for watching Story. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more real-life stories.